Housing development progress. Number one and the best. Housing development progress. Number one. Number one. Housing development progress. Number one and the best. Housing development progress. Number one. Housing development progress. In Nigeria. Housing development progress. In Africa. Housing development program and the globe. Number one, housing development program.
With rapid urbanization taking place in Nigeria, the demand for housing has escalated, particularly among the low and middle income families. However, the current supply of housing falls short of meeting this demand, leading to various challenges such as housing shortages, slum increase, and inadequate infrastructure. Affordable housing plays a crucial role in addressing these challenges and promoting sustainable urban development. This is Housing Development, a program that advocates for the provision of low-cost, quality, and decent housing for Nigerians. As always, I am your housing diva, Fleur Annie. Before we begin, as usual, let's get to see the news making rounds in the housing sector.
The Coalition Against Corruption and Bad Governance has urged Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to investigate officials of the Lagos State Building Control Agency, LABSCA, following the recent demolition of buildings and other structures in the state. The group stated that the huge losses suffered by property owners and developers could have been avoided if LABSCA officials had done their job properly, and not given illegal approval to buildings. In an open letter to the governor, the coalition stated that amidst the government's efforts to remove illegal structures, it must also not shy away from punishing officials of the building control authorities who compromise by giving illegal approvals to buildings. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged Senate President Godswill Akpabio to reject the proposal by the FCTA Minister, Nyesom Wike, to spend 15 billion naira on Vice President Kashim Shettima's residence. In a letter by Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP emphasizes Senate President Godswill Akpabio's role in overseeing constitutional matters and urges the rejection of 2.8 billion naira for FCTA publicity and any wasteful spending in the 2023 supplementary budget and President Bola Tinubu's 2024 budget proposal. SERAP contends that allocating 15 billion naira for the Vice President's residence violates the Constitution anti-corruption obligations. Emphasizing adherence to the rule of law, the organization urges officials, including Minister Nyesom Wike, to align with constitutional principles, aligning with SERAP's commitment to accountability and responsible fund use. The newly elected president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, NIA, Mrs. Mobolaji Adeola Adeniyi, has highlighted the key solution to the rising cases of building collapse in Nigeria during her post-inauguration ceremony. She stated that governments need to engage only registered architects to prevent building collapses, citing the dangers of involving unqualified individuals in construction. Speaking in Ibadan, Oyo State, Adeniyi urged the government to adopt a policy of patronizing only registered architects to mitigate the risks associated with structures. As the 30th president of NIA, she underscored the critical role of professionals in preventing building disasters. The president, Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria, Mark Yoroki Ebilate, has underscored Nigeria's resilience and commitment to technological evolution. The Mban president revealed this at the 20th Annual Subsector Retreat from December 1 to 3rd, held at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Ebilate emphasizes technology's vital role, especially artificial intelligence in the housing sector's future success. The retreat, themed Advancing Sustainable Housing Finance in Nigeria, aims to address challenges through collaboration and innovation. Optimistic about the sector's contribution to Nigeria's GDP by 2050, Ebilate sees the retreat as a catalyst for positive change in affordable housing finance.
You can read the full details of the news on www.africanhousingnews.com. Housing quality embraces many factors, which include the physical condition of the building and other facilities and services that make living in a particular area conducive. The quality of housing within any neighborhood should be such that satisfies minimum health standards and good living standards, but should also be affordable to all categories of household. Today we shall be visiting the Oluwaseun Community in Akure, the Ondo state capital, to see the living conditions of the residents.
For residents of Oluwaseun, a community in Akure, the Ondo state capital, and has existed for many decades. Despite its years of existence, the community's environmental situation and housing infrastructure is worrisome, not just to the public, but also to the people living there. The environment, which is not conducive, has water flowing on the street, primarily from the bathrooms of people that channeled their pipes to the street. When asked about having access to some basic amenities and affordability of houses in the community, the youth leader of the community, Mr. Aderomu Ajayi, has this to say.
We are the ones moving out in the night, okay, to secure our life, most especially the youth. I will call everybody, to come out to do the vigilantes for ourselves. We don't have a security personnel coming down here. Now, I want to tell you, most of the times we don't have light, but the NEPA men will come to our place, they will collect their money at the end of the day, at the end of the month. As you can see. But I always telling our youth here not to fight with them.
Some other residents who also lent their voices said that the environmental situation has posed a threat to their livelihoods.
A ò lí títì rárá lí títì irikoto gúlúgúlú kéra olórí abá wá àbọ̀ bá páàkì sí títì lọ́rùn ìyàrá gan kan lọ sí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì libyan gan náà páàkì sí títì lọ́rùn àríbí páàkì sí rárá ìsàlẹ̀ báyìí kó bá fẹ́ gbàbẹ̀ kó bá mọ̀sẹ̀ gbàbẹ̀ kó ẹ̀ ṣọ́ra wa kan ṣàdédé báyìí lálẹ́ kó aṣubú lẹ́ni kí irikoto gúlúgúlú títì rẹ̀ àìlèjì alógún àní títì.
Kò sójú ọ̀nà kò sómi gbogbo àwọn tó yẹ kó wá kán gbé mọ́tò wá kán wá bá wa ra nǹkan.
We don't have tarred road like other road there in Akure here. And here, because of the road now, there's no business. Look at the schools. Look at the women selling things. They don't have money to do their business. And apart from this now, you can see the gutter. We don't have good gutters in this area.
Ilé mọ́tò máa yà gbálẹ̀ líbí kí mọ́ṣíìnì gan bọ̀ báyìí device ṣe yìn bẹ́yìí hàn nílé gòkè.
Ilé ń bá yàrá mẹ́rin wà ńbẹ̀ báwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ní gbangba tí ò sójú ọ̀nà wọn ní òsibí tí wọ́n gbà.
We have a lot of challenges here. If the federal government can help us, okay, to give us good road so that businesses will continue booming here. Look at the schools. The schools, I think we have up to 3 primary schools here now. So with this, if the government can give us good road, we'll be able to have better future.
Àrọwọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ síjọba nìkan jọ kan ṣíjú àánú wò wá. à ń gbàdúrà fún gbogbo àdúrà tá a dẹ̀ ń gbà fún á gbà lórí wọn kán bá wa ṣe ìyà yìí pọ̀ jù á dẹ̀ ti wà ládùúgbò bó la ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ sílé lọ.
The living condition of Oluwaseun Community there in Akure, next in line is Kabusa, a relatively well-populated area in Abuja. For the most part, Kabusa is still developing with informal settlements scattered around the district. Now here's a visit to Kabusa District.
It is undeniable that Abuja is a beautiful city, but one thing that takes away the beauty is the city's slums and rural areas that have been neglected. These areas have many stakes and hurdles to contend with on a daily basis. Kabusa, a cosmopolitan city inhabited by people with diverse ethnic backgrounds, is a community situated in the Federal Capital Territory with little or no basic amenities. The poor sanitary conditions that families, especially children, have to live in is not palatable and pose a threat to the well-being of the residents. The lack of basic amenities in this area is alarming, as the entrance road to Kabusa is nothing to write home about. One can only imagine how these roads will be during the raining season. The source of water in this community is a major challenge for residents living in Kabusa. HousingTV Africa further investigated by speaking with Mr. Julius, a resident in the community, who lamented about the source of water as well as easy access to health care.
This Kabusa, we just did a manager because of the thing. Now, if you want fresh water now, you will go far place before you go look for the water when you go fresh. Hospital man no dey close here. The person know where they could carry and go inside town before. So as we just did here, plenty things one not every day here when some things when they look for plenty things. Now see environment no look so good.
One would expect that being a slum area, accommodation will be affordable. In the case of Kabusa, house rents are expensive and these houses are not modern, nor are they habitable to live in, with a self-contained going for 80,000 naira. According to Mrs. Felix, these houses don't have a kitchen or toilet.
I'm paying 45. It's one room, nothing inside. And the toilet, there about 5 people share it. Kitchen is outside, and using this local stone to cook.
Mr. Joseph lamented about the insecurities of the community as one of the major challenges of the residents living in Kabusa.
We are facing much problem here. See food problem, see insecurity every day. In the night you can't sleep. Even though we say we have security around us, but we see people disturbing us in the night. So, but I pray the government should listen to us and come and do something and give us a better living condition.
For business owners like Joy, the lack of electricity in the community is a major challenge.
We don't used to have light every day. Now we don't have light. Yesterday every light is low current. So I don't used to pick my fridge because I use the fridge, yes. That's what we are suffering for here.
The residents of the Kabusa community call on the federal government to make Kabusa a better and enjoyable place to live in. Maimuna Bagudu reporting for Housing Development.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global, and keep watching the Housing Development Program.
As a result of high cost of housing and lack of good financing schemes, the increasing population is forced to live in substandard housing and unhealthy environment, giving rise to informal settlement that are characterized by numerous problems such as overpopulation, inadequate basic amenities, non-conventional housing, and poor environmental conditions. Housing is a right and not a privilege. I will be back shortly.
We don't have road, and you see at times if it is raining, you will see a lot of people will go by the roadside. They'll be thrown dead on the main road. We also doesn't have toilet. You will see a toilet, you will see up to 30 tenants. They are using one. You can't leave your door open, go and buy something. Before you will know, Babambola will enter. By the time you will take them to police station, 1 hour is too much. The police people will release them. In fact, we don't know what is happening.
This is the situation with many citizens in not just Nigeria. Are we ready for this conversation? What is the plight of an average Nigerian citizen in regards to housing? Housing is a fundamental human right, and these issues must be addressed.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. The Association of Professional Women Builders of Nigeria recently held its national conference and fundraising event in Abuja with the theme Cement and Concrete Production, Environment, Hazard and Control. Our correspondent will give more details.
The Association of Professional Women Builders of Nigeria, APWBN, recently held its national conference and fundraising event at the National Center for Women Development in Abuja, with the theme Cement and Concrete Production, Environment, Hazard and Control. The event had in attendance the 22nd President of the Nigerian Institute of Builders Association, NIOB, Builder Sir Adelton Ewa, Builder Mrs. Florence Akiyoade, National Chairman of the Association of Professional Women Builders of Nigeria, representatives of the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs and Development, Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, stakeholders and advocates in the building industry, amongst others. The event started with an opening remarks by the chairperson of APWBN, Builder Mrs. Florence Akiyoade.
As an association, we aim at enhancing our professional contribution to enable development, and I believe the theme, Cement and Concrete Production, Environmental Hazard and Control, will benefit us immensely in our search for reduced greenhouse gases emission, more sustainable construction and more eco-friendly houses, especially now as the cement industry alone is set to be responsible for up to 7% of global emission. This conference is therefore very important, not just because it attracts 6 units of CPD, but because of the impact it will add on our professional knowledge to be able to address the challenges facing the construction industry. This year, we have combined a fundraising event with our conference, and we shall targeting the purchase of house for the association, which we hope it will just serve as our administrative base. But we hope to dedicate it for training of particularly female artisans.
Giving his opening remarks, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Builders Association, Builder Sir Adelton Ewa, thanked the women of APWBN for coming together to organize this year's conference, which focuses on how the end users can protect themselves from the hazards of cement and concrete.
That prioritizes environmental sustainability, advocating for the use of alternative materials, and staying informed about emerging technologies are all steps we can embrace. We thank our women builders for this conference, which focuses on how we, the end users of these products, can effectively use this without greatly affecting our environmental. It is indeed a welcome development, which, when put into use, will preserve our environment.
Paper presentations were made by stakeholders in the housing sector. The highlight of the event was fundraising as well as the decoration of matrons and patrons of the association, where the convener and founder of African International Housing Show and CEO of HousingTv Africa, Festus Adebayo, who was represented, was decorated and awarded as a patron of the association.
It's good news. Are you a stakeholder in the built environment, or you are looking for an authentic, credible source for housing and construction news in Africa? You now have an opportunity. Africa International Housing Show has now created a unique opportunity for you by establishing a full-fledged housing television, the first of its kind in Africa. You can now access information on home ownership, rental, building materials, finance, real estate and insurance, among others, all on Housing TV Africa, channel 149 on StarTime.
I must say congratulations to Festus Adebayo, the convener, founder of Africa International Housing Show, and the CEO of Housing TV Africa, who was awarded as a patron of the Association of Professional Women Builders of Nigeria. Moving on, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Musa Ahmed Dangiwa, has charged mortgage bankers on innovation. He says Nigeria's housing crisis requires creative solutions. He also harped on the need for affordable mortgage products to match current economic realities at the 20th edition of the Mortgage Banking CEO's Annual Retreat recently held in Abuja.
The idea of mortgages has been in existence for quite a while as a means of raising capital and financing on the leverage of rights to affordable housing, which has been regarded as one of the most dependable assets to own. The mortgage sector over the years has faced numerous challenges, thereby making it difficult for many Nigerians to have a roof over their heads. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, expressed his pains over the same problems that have been militating against the growth of the housing finance, mortgage adoption, and housing delivery facing the country. While speaking to Housing TV Africa, recently at the 20th edition of the Mortgage Banking Subsector Annual Retreat 2023, he outlined some of the measures to be taken in order to solve the challenges facing the mortgage sector.
Well, the Renewed Hope agenda came with reforms. As you quite well know that if you know the challenges, you know the problems, then constitute a committee of experts to look at it. And then you should have somebody like a president who has the will to do it. Because all these reports, we have them we have policies that are there on the shelf, but they have never been implemented. But we need actualization of these policies, actualization of these reforms. And this is the time when we have to do it. With the new Renewed Hope agenda of Mr. President, whereby we have already gotten his approval to constitute these reform committees. And these reform committees will start working by next week. And then once they have brought out their reports, the next thing will go to the National Assembly to see the National Assembly collaboration with the executive bills for reforming most of the stumbling blocks, if it concerns Act, if it concerns the institutions, if it concerns whatever. We have to ensure that we do it. And that will to even explore the option of the collaboration with the public-private partnerships to ensure that funds are raised and ensure that an environment are created to break all the obstacles. That's the first thing we intend to do.
While noting with concern, the minister raised an alarm over the capital market not being maximally tapped in order to raise long-term funds to refinance mortgage loans. The minister also spoke on possible ways in which the capital market can be used to raise long-term funds in order to refinance mortgage loans in Nigeria.
Part of the reforms we intend to do, we intend to ensure that we work with the capital markets to ensure that all the environment, all the obstacles, because most of the primary mortgage banks and other housing finance institutions, they are one thing or the other is what stop them from going to the capital market. So by this collaboration reform meeting that we intend to do, that's why we explore all those obstacles and ensure that we surmount them. The scoop is there that has been tested and is working in the country. Even the capital market itself needs to come and sit down with them and ensure that they create all the enabling environment for access to funding, especially in housing. As you quite well know, that housing needs huge funding, and it's for a mortgage it needs long-term funding, and the only way to go forward is through the capital market, and the capital market must come forward and be part of the reform and ensure that they also key into the agenda of Mr. President of the Renewed Hope agenda.
Welcome back. It's 11 days to African Housing Awards 2023. Join us at the Africa Housing Awards as we honor the trailblazers and visionaries shaping the future of housing in Africa. African Housing Awards is the best prestigious housing awards in Africa. Be a part of it on the 17th of December 2023 at the International Conference Center, Abuja, Nigeria.
This is a good development. It's something that we encourage others to look forward to annually, and I hope they'll be able to sustain this. And as a senator, I will see how we can give support to them in the Senate so that they can go ahead to improve housing in Nigeria.
It happens, and also the challenge in the sense that this is asking for more work because you are doing the work and people are seeing you what the place is actually doing. And I want to thank the organizers for finally working with
That is it on today's program. Join me next week for another informative episode. I remain your housing diva, Claire Arnie.